Leaks might be my least favorite part about the entire Smash Bros. Experience. They've been the bane of the existence for the Smash development team and honestly for pretty much every fan of the series for years at this point. Now every video game community has leaks, it's just how internet culture works, but with Smash in particular, there's a very big impact made by these in a negative way. One of the most enjoyable aspects of Smash is wondering who will be the next fighter to join the battle. Will my favorite character finally become playable? What will they play like? Will they kill the game's competitive scene? And so many more questions arise from this one part of the experience, yet leaks take that all away. But what were some of the biggest Smash leaks of all time? Which characters were revealed way earlier than expected, and how much spotlight did they get? Let's examine every real Smash leak, but before we jump right in, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Atlas VPN is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. When you connect to a VPN server, your device is given a new IP and DNS address, and all of the traffic is encrypted and routed towards the VPN server. When the traffic arrives there, the VPN server decrypts the information and allows the traffic to access the desired location, thus giving you access to media and websites from the location that you select. If you've ever tried to watch a YouTube video but can't view it because it says it's blocked in your region, well, with Atlas VPN, you could just switch your region to somewhere else and view that content now without any issues. You could actually get cheaper air tickets when booking a flight through using Atlas VPN as well. Even if you're going on the exact same trip, booking the flight through one country's provider over another could save you a lot of money. Just look at this. Atlas VPN is supported on any device, and currently they're running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $139 a month. You heard that right, $139 a month, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. The deal won't last for long, so make sure to check it out by clicking the link in the description below. You won't want to miss this opportunity. Let's examine every real Smash leak, with our story beginning surprisingly in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Longtime Smash fans know that this certainly wasn't the first entry in the series, rather being its third installment, yet the first Smash leaks only began with this game. While this may seem unlikely at first glance, the fact is that the internet prior to 2001 definitely wasn't in the state that it was today. So the platforms that those with Intel used to spread their message wouldn't have existed yet. But by the time October of 2007 rolled around, this definitely wasn't the case. GameFAQ's user Chaos Zero made a post which unveiled a lot. He said that Sonic, Lucario, and Wolf would become newcomers, that a variety of characters would return from Melee, that Mewtwo would be removed, that the stage builder would be a feature, and one of the most fascinating details to me, that the Dragoon would be an item, combined with a description of how it works. And this all turned out to be 100% true. All of it. If there was any doubt about the characters just being lucky guesses despite the scary accuracy of all of it, the Dragoon bit seals the deal. This is one of the machines from Kirby Air Ride, which came out in 2003 and is such an oddly specific item to remark in this that nobody could have called it. I don't think anybody would have. So the impact of this leak must have been earth-shattering at this point, right? A bunch of major calls on a forum rapidly growing in popularity should have at least gotten some buzz, and it did, just for the wrong reasons. Due to the unprecedented standard of credible leakers, this was treated as a standard troll post. Haha, Sonic and Smash, a third-party character? And no more Mewtwo as well? Like, get real, man. But he was right, and would later be deemed the Dragoon prophet by the community, as this piece of evidence put the stamp on just how right he really was. Naya was a user on Smashboards around this time as well, and despite being an infamous troll in the community, surprisingly dropped some big information about Brawl. He would leak the exact number of characters that the game would have in its roster, 35, counting situations like Pokemon Trainer as one slot, that Olimar, Toon Link, and once again Sonic would become playable, that the heavily requested Mega Man and Ridley would not be, and confirmed a bunch of returning characters like the previous leak, with the oddly specific details this time around including a release delay for Brawl and it being on a dual-layered disc, all of which was true. But due to the reputation, Naya would not only not be believed, but the post would be edited by a moderator on Smashboards, deemed a liar, the whole 9 yards, and I bet you could guess how this aged. And while Chaos and Naya's posts were simply treated as trolls, a Smashboards post by the user ShadowXOR was completely dismissed as false by the community. Shadow posted that he was able to playtest a version of Brawl, pretty much the older version of My Uncle Works at Nintendo, right? And in this, he confirmed a few returning fighters from Melee, along with a newcomer of Rob the Robot. And while the lovable robotic operating buddy was sort of being brought back into the spotlight around this time with a Mario Kart DS appearance for something which wasn't even really a video game character to begin with, mainly just a toy to get Nintendo out of the early 80s gaming regulations, it still wasn't very feasible to see him join the battle as a playable character in Smash, right? Combine that with Rob already being shown as an enemy in Brawl's Subspace Emissary campaign mode, and you'd certainly think, okay, this is enough. Good one, guys, you referenced him, But no, he actually got into the roster. Before the whole spirits can't be fighters debate, we had the if the character is an enemy, they can't also be playable debate, which is a pretty fitting way to sum up just how much this fanbase has changed over the years. Not at all. And while despite leaking many playable characters by this point, none of these leaks would be believed until January of 2008 rolled around. A promotional video for Brawl would be posted during this time to Nintendo's official Wii website, and after being up for a few days, fans started dissecting it and noticed something interesting. A sticker for the Earthbound character Klaus was included here, which showed icons for both Ness and Lucas, when Ness hadn't been confirmed yet for the game. Now, while it may seem like a non-story for veterans to return in Smash games nowadays, keep in mind this is over a decade before the whole everyone is here thing, and Ness was actually later revealed to have been considered to be scrapped from Brawl to begin with. So the idea that he was essentially a lock definitely wasn't the case. This was pretty big news at the time. Several Pokemon icons would also be shown here, and fans noticed the absence of Mewtwo, which implied that the character wouldn't be playable any longer, which turned out to be true. This video would eventually get taken down for leaking this information, and I can't help but wonder how quickly this information would have been discovered by fans if this happened today. Like back then, this took a little over a weekend to find, but the way content operates today, where people will grasp at any possible straw for a morsel of information, I'm guessing a couple hours instead. A pretty funny bonus leak for me for Brawl occurred in an interview by Ultra Nico with Snake's voice actor David Hayter. When asked which fighter from Brawl he'd most like to beat up, he responded with Jigglypuff, when at this time Puff actually had not been revealed to be playable in the game yet. Who knows if David was actually privy to the roster information of Brawl and was just picking a character he remembered playing in Melee for this, but I'd say there's a good chance that he messed up here, since Ultra Nico's account would go down shortly after. Sucks that this had to happen, as it was likely inadvertent, but at least it wasn't an entirely brand new fighter. Now, Smash 4's build-up was the first where social media would play a big factor, and as such there would be more hype put into each character reveal with these flashy intro videos for everyone. But with this increased hype for each reveal also comes an increased desire to cash in on them. Be it the views, clout, attention, whatever the motive, more eyeballs on the reveal means more desire to leak it. And this happened. A lot. In May of 2014, GameFAQ's user Jiggensteins posted that Lucina and Robin would become two new playable characters in the game, and specified that female Robin would be a palette swap along with the fighter being focused on magic attacks, all of which would be proven true just 2 months later. Remembering back at the time, Lucina was definitely not the most obvious pick. Chrom was being thrown around everywhere in the community as the new Fire Emblem rep. There were even talks of him replacing Ike or even Marth in the community, but Nintendo took the bet that Fire Emblem Awakening would succeed, and it did. And the two characters included here would lead to so many more in the future. One of the first major sets of Smash 4 leaks were known as the Gematsu leaks, as they would be reported to that website by a contributor named Sal Romano after receiving info from an anonymous source. And even though that they revealed a lot, the source of their information may be surprisingly easy to trace. This leak came out before E3 of 2013 and called Villager, Mega Man, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, Pac-Man, Shulk, Palutena, and Greninja. A ton of characters were called here, meaning that this has gotta be one of the biggest leaks ever, right? Well, not really. While there were many correct claims, too many to be a complete coincidence, this leak also predicted Chrom and the Chorusman to become playable, which looks really bad since neither of them were playable in Smash 4, while Chrom did get in Ultimate eventually. On top of that, their call of Greninja was kind of vague, with them just saying that a Pokemon from X and Y would be in the game, not exactly precise. These inconsistencies led to many doubting the validity of these claims, even with the wild call of Wii Fit. But why can we confirm nowadays that this was indeed not a coincidence? Retroactively looking at the situation, things really seem like Sal was given a list of the first set of newcomers planned to be coming to Smash 4. We have confirmation of Chrom being the Fire Emblem character considered for the game at first, and Sakurai would also later say that the goal for the Pokemon rep was to include one from the newest game, so they probably just penciled in a spot for it no matter what, and specifically decided on Greninja later. In terms of the Chorusmen, well, there are files related to them left in Smash 4's files, which has led to many rumors that they were planned, but due to hardware limitations would have to be cut, in a similar vein to how Smash 4 on the 3DS couldn't handle both Ice Climbers. So while this source wasn't as up to date as many others that we'll cover, there's no denying that a lot came out of this. Now, before E3 of this year, there was another big leak which had surfaced at the time. Smashboard's user Ninka Kiwi posted that his friend was playtesting the game and that Mario and Charizard would be getting new alternate costumes in it. Big revelation, right? It's not like this happens in every single Smash game, but in July, things got more interesting. Ninka would go on to say that Lucas, Wolf, Snake, and the Ice Climbers would all be cut for this entry, while Dr. Mario, Dark Pit, Shulk, Duck Hunt, and Bowser Jr. would be joining the battle, specifically saying that Jr. would be in the clown car along with the 7 Koopalings. Ninka would go on to post his friend's recreations of the leaked palette swaps from the game to later be used as evidence to back up his other claims. Remember this, it's gonna be a big detail. During this whole ordeal, a leaked list of characters was making the rounds on 4chan from an independent source which claimed that along with some of the characters from the Ninka leak, Mewtwo, Ridley, Dixie Kong, and the Chorusman from Rhythm Heaven would be playable in the roster too. After this, someone else in the community named Van Rose came out with a leak claiming that he knew someone who worked at Nintendo of America's offices that said that Robin, Bowser Jr., and Duck Hunt would be in the game. Now, while the leak from Ninka would be initially disbelieved, these 2 palette swaps which I mentioned would actually be seen before the game's release, which would give it some credibility. Combine that with this drop from an independent source and the Van Rose leak corroborating some of the claims that Jr. and Duck Hunt would be playable, it would cause some buzz to arise in the community about the leak, considering the striking parallels in characters. What's the chances that both Bowser Jr. and Duck Hunt get reported by 3 separate sources in close proximity to one another, right? The community would go on to sort of combine all 3 of these leaks into one thread on Smashboards, which would link all of this information together. And this is where the misinformation begins to spread. When Smash for 3DS released in Japan, everything from the leaks of both Ninka and Van Rose would be confirmed, yet the independent 4chan leaks were proven to be false. Probably one of the best examples of why not to combine information from multiple sources right here. One of them just happened to get lucky in their guess of Duck Hunt, which led to many getting baited. One leak which definitely didn't bait many, however, might be the biggest leak in Smash Bros. History. The Smash 4 ESRB leak. If you were on the Smash 4 hype train back in the day, you'll probably remember this one as something that took a lot of excitement away from the final couple of months before the game came out. And if you weren't, this is gonna be quite a story. Several weeks before the game's final release, a 4chan user would post never before seen renders of unconfirmed veteran fighters for the roster like Jigglypuff, Ness, and more. Again, we're still in the stage here where we didn't know for sure that they'd be coming back, with the big characters to focus on from this post being Shulk, Bowser Jr., and Duck Hunt. I'll get into why in a second. In the leaked images, there were also X's across some veteran characters to basically indicate that these guys would not be joining the battle. So this leak was sort of making every call for the roster of the base game, and despite the new renders, this would, after being thought about for a little bit, be dismissed as fake. There just wasn't enough overwhelming evidence to take this leak as truth, and why would there be considering these strange decisions made for the roster anyways? Cut Mewtwo and add the dog from a random 1980s game? It couldn't be true, so there needed to be more evidence. Despite there being a few accounts to back up these claims, it's 4chan, so it was still taken with a grain of salt. But one thing that's definitely harder to fake than a photo is a video, and a YouTuber by the name of Is That True would post several low quality videos showcasing Shulk in multiplayer battles in the game. Videos which Nintendo themselves would make the mistake of taking down due to copyright, a signal that there may have been a shed of truth here. This leak would also showcase the main menu and classic mode appearance of the game, which was actually the first piece of it to be definitively proven as true, despite the footage takedown looking really bad. This is because in Sakurai's pick of the day thing on Twitter, which yes was still a thing back then, my god it's been forever, there were menus for the game featured in these, which matched those from the leak. But maybe they just had one piece of information correct and simply faked the footage to create a more elaborate leak, and oh. Yeah. Less than a week after this, Shulk would be officially revealed for the game, with moves identical to those made out in the grainy footage. If we took all of this information from the menu to the Shulk footage back to the original image, we can make a pretty good assumption that this wasn't a troll post. It was a legitimate leak. And this is why I said to remember these characters in particular, because with these two nails in the coffin, the reveals of Bowser Jr. and Duck Hunt would not be treated with the same shock, awe, and hype as the others, and the reaction would simply be, oh, so yeah. The leak was right. I was spoiled. It sucks that this made so much more headway than any of the leaks that we've covered so far. Like, it got out there, which must have been painful for Sakurai, exponentially worse than it was for us in the fanbase. You take the effort away from story cutscenes to make these promo trailers, and now they're not even generating the excitement that you wanted out of them. They're just a waste. Now you may be wondering something about all of this. Why is it referred to as the ESRB leak? Well, this is because along with leaking several fighters for Smash 4, there were also images included which Nintendo had sent to the ratings board at the ESRB to get the game approved for its age rating. And a very infamous one which I covered in a video about censored Smash Bros. Characters was this Trophy of Tharja for Smash 3DS, which would not be approved to be in the final game. This leaked image was cut. Tons of information came from this leak, and while I'd say the impact was mostly negative, without it, we still may have never known about this very interesting piece of missing content. One of the fighters who got leaked in this ESRB image, who I neglected to mention earlier, was Ganondorf, because he actually got leaked in a funnier way. by Nintendo themselves. Nintendo would post a promo video for Smash 4 in August, which contained a scene of Pikachu taunting where they showed footage of Ganondorf being off screen, which I find hilarious because you'd think there'd be at least a few layers of checking for this, right? Any one of these parties could be at fault here. Do you want to blame the uploader of the video for not checking it, the editor for leaving this bit in, or how about the person who even captured the footage because for some reason they chose an unrevealed fighter of all characters to go up against Pikachu here? I get they never intended to reveal him here, it was just a mistake, but this never could have possibly been an issue if they just chose Mario or someone else to be player 2 instead. In typical Nintendo fashion, they would remove the video despite things on the internet lasting forever, but instead of just taking it down and hoping the dust would settle, they would go on to re-upload it with the part edited out. Why? Sakurai would even tweet a couple of weeks later when promoting the home run contest feature that he thinks Ganon would give you an advantage in the mode. What? So first Ganondorf gets leaked, the leak gets removed, then shortly after, the game's director tweets about it. The official reveal for him joining the battle would only be 5 days after this tweet, so I guess they figured enough is enough, but clearly a lack of communication here between the various teams. And as we're gonna see, it's not the only time that Nintendo would leak their own character. Following this, there would be a couple of stage and mode leaks for the game through Facebook and Amazon posts, but no major character leaks followed the Ganon one, that is, until the DLC started dropping. And the version 1.0.6 update for the game, which opened up Mewtwo's playability, 2 critical files were left in the game by mistake. Both sound files with the names of Roy and Ryu in them, respectively. The latter would have famous Capcom music in the former, while some may have joked about it being the Roy who actually got into Smash 4's base roster. No, it was indeed the Fire Emblem Smash victory theme. Why would these be there if these characters weren't going to be playable, right? Especially the Ryu situation. And when this would be reported by various Nintendo YouTube channels at the time, they would have their videos subsequently removed by Nintendo. Things looked all but confirmed, and they would be in a direct just 2 months later. It was really unfortunate in the presentation seeing Roy revealed first, since it all but confirmed who the second fighter was going to be, since the publicity that the leak got would be so large. You'd basically have to be off the internet for 2 months and not look at the live stream chat for the direct to avoid it. When it comes to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the desire to leak information would only increase. In April of 2018, Master Hyrule on Twitter would claim that a source told him of Bayonetta, Duck Hunt, and Shulk returning as playable characters in the next entry of the series, also sharing an image of Ultimate's new battlefield. The day after this, a YouTube user named Jaru King of Heart made a video claiming that he knew of several items Nintendo would be putting on display at their E3 booth that year, including Bayonetta's weapons and boots, Captain Falcon's helmet, Marth's falchion, and more. Now while these didn't get a ton of publicity, the latter was believed by many since he had previously leaked that Mario Odyssey's New Donk City would be a heavy feature in Nintendo's 2017 booth at E3, which turned out to be accurate. In total, this would attempt to confirm 6 characters as playable, backing up 2 of Master of Hyrule's claimed characters. In addition, King of Heart also posted an image of the game's battlefield, which looked very similar to the one which Master of Hyrule posted, somewhat linking these 2 leaks. All of this information would go on to be proven true in Nintendo's presentation in June, when every claimed returning fighter was confirmed since, well, literally every character would be confirmed, along with the new battlefield which matched the 2 images. But getting to E3 may be a day too far ahead, because another leak occurred just a day before on 4chan, one which was dismissed as a troll post only to be proven right just 24 hours later. They claimed that every previous character from Smash would return, that many old stages would come back, that Daisy and Ridley would be newcomers, that Daisy along with several other clones would gain a new classification which turned out to be Echoes, that Bomberman was an assist trophy, and that the title of the game would be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The title, again, wasn't revealed at that time. There were a couple of mistakes in this though. As with many leaks, someone may receive some footage and make assumptions based on what they see without the full context, and this guy said that Lucas would be an Echo fighter and the Squid Sisters would be part of Inkling's final Smash, neither of which was accurate. I think we have a pretty good idea of why these mistakes were made though, since the Squid Sisters were indeed included as an assist trophy and Lucas is showcased alongside Ness in the trailer, so it was probably just a misinterpretation of these 2 scenes. A much more interesting leak than that to me came in August, and like many came directly from Nintendo themselves. A Nintendo Direct would be set to air the next day, but the night before, a YouTube video for the Galaga medley track, which was previously confirmed the week before, would be renamed to Bloody Tears / Monster Dance, which are both tracks from Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest. Yeah, it was later properly renamed back to Galaga Medley, but that didn't stop the fanbase from spreading the word, and fast. It was an unfortunate mistake, but a costly one indeed, since why would Nintendo include a song from a major third-party franchise for no reason, right? It's a lot like the Ryu situation. Simon was expected as the newcomer because of the medley's origin title, but at least Richter would be a slight surprise when being revealed the next day, so it wasn't entirely bad. A couple of other smaller leaks would occur in the time that followed. The game's Spirits mode would be leaked when Nintendo themselves blurred the word in a trailer in a way which was easily decrypted unpredictable by the fanbase. In September, the English voice actor for Snake was asked about Ultimate and said that he didn't record any new codec conversations for the game, basically leaking that they are either going to be entirely removed or just carrying over the ones from Brawl, the latter which would actually end up happening, but things would pick up later in the month. In mid-September of 2018, a Reddit user named Noticedy made a few posts about Ultimate claiming that they were a playtester and had some unrevealed intel. In their first post, Noticedy claimed that Ken and Incineroar would become playable characters, that spirits would be similar to Brawl's stickers, that the flies in hand from Mario Paint would be an assist trophy, and more. Some unique claims, but not enough to be taken seriously. Where's the proof, right? Well, in post 2, there were even more specifics mentioned. Noticedy would describe the newly revealed character Isabel's moveset very specifically, moves like the aerials which weren't shown yet in the trailer. But their third and final post may have been the boldest of all. In this, it was mentioned that Piranha Plant would be the game's first DLC fighter. Now come on, really? A generic enemy from Mario which had never been playable in anything up until that point would make their first appearance in that vein in Smash Brothers of all games? Now they're definitely messing with us at this point, right? On November 1st of that year, Ken, Incineroar, and Piranha Plant would all be confirmed as playable characters for the game. The Flies in Hand Assist trophy was also revealed along with the details of the Spirit mode which matched the description that Noticedy gave. Later the same day, a Nintendo Trio stream of Smash Ultimate also validated their claims about Isabel's moveset, putting the nail in the coffin. This was a legit leak. It's clear that whoever this was seemed to know about the contents of this direct specifically, and only this, since all of their leaked contents were shown at the same time. This was definitely a good thing though, since if you never heard of the leak, you wouldn't have an opportunity to get spoiled, although I remember when watching it live, scrolling through Twitter, and some fans had already made the connections. This wouldn't be the only time that Ken was leaked as a fighter though, as on the 21st of September, a user on 4chan would post one of the most infamous leaked screenshots in Smash history. This. Pictured here are 4 characters on the new Moray Tower stage, being Ivysaur, Pichu, Pac-Man, and a newcomer to the roster, Ken. Now like most leaks in this vein, this image would be scrutinized for a long period of time by the fanbase to the point where an attempt was made to recreate it in a demo version of the game to see how accurate the leak was. There were some shadowing issues discovered with the picture, but after Ken's official reveal, this reasoning was likely attributed to the way in which the photo was taken. This leak was legit and shows that even when some leaks look fake, their contents can be proven as oh so real. Another leak that would come out a month later would get fans' hopes up, only to lead to disappointment. Not in the vein of a fake leak, nah, this was a real one. People just misinterpreted what they saw. So what was this anyway? On October 26th, Nintendo of America posted a video on Twitter with several Smash Ultimate clips, not really showing anything new for the game, just some promo footage and stuff, but for a split second on the Mute City stage, there was some item with a stem and leaves which could be noticed, which bore a striking resemblance in the eyes of Golden Sun fans to the growth synergy from Dark Dawn. Could this imply a return of Golden Sun content to Smash Brothers? Something that wasn't the case since Brawl, and with that, if they're gonna bring back content from this series seemingly out of the blue with no new games to promote or anything like that, that has to imply that Isaac, the protagonist of the series, and a very highly requested newcomer would be joining the battle, right? There's no other good reason for why Nintendo would do this. Except he wasn't playable. Yes, this leak confirmed the return of Golden Sun content to Smash Brothers, but in the November 1st Smash Direct, this item was confirmed to be the Healing Sprout, and Isaac would be announced as an assist trophy. So any hopes of him being playable in the base roster were crushed right then and there. We moved to 2 weeks prior to the release of Smash Ultimate, the odd time frame where there's undoubtedly people who have the game because many copies need to be manufactured in advance obviously, and an accidental early release in Mexico led to details of the full game being leaked. The bosses of the game like Dark Dawn, Crazy Hand, Marks, and Ganon would be leaked along with all of the game's spirits, music tracks, and more. Luckily for our story today though, Ultimate's leaks definitely didn't end there, as we'd be getting even more newcomers included as DLC than we got in the base roster, as crazy as that sounds. And these leaks began as early as October, when Twitter user MilkBazatu claimed that the hero from Dragon Quest would become playable in the game alongside VR content coming to the Nintendo Switch. This leak would kinda pass on by without having much of an impact until March, when this VR content would actually be revealed for the Switch. But because it had been so long since this post, it would kinda be forgotten about until the massive data mine leaks would start to come out. On November 28th, 2018, a technical data Discord server, hey, maybe we should have one of those. I know it's kind of off topic, but if you're interested, maybe leave a comment or a like or something. But anyways, this Discord server, I'm sure, was a bit more sophisticated, and it covered Ultimate's character parameters table, which basically lists details like walking speed and whatnot. But in there, the names Pakken, Jack, and Brave would be listed. Kinda strange, but with Piranha Plant starting out the game's DLC, we can kinda see a parallel with Pakken, a bit of a stretch, but maybe just a code name. But then when Joker was revealed for Fighters Pass 1, and a slight similarity could also be seen with Jack, this seemingly unimportant detail of information started to be considered as anything but. Fans started speculating in droves about which new character would be earmarked as Brave. Who could fulfill that role? Well, that's when our original Milk Bazatu leak would begin to re-emerge. A post already with some credibility that's definitely hinting at a brave character joining the battle was pretty good evidence that the protagonist, or technically multiple protagonists from Dragon Quest, would become playable in the first Fighters Pass. And they were right. Hero would be revealed at E3 2019 alongside Banjo and Kazooie as bombshell additions to Smash Ultimate's roster. And while Hero was leaked beforehand, at least Banjo would be a complete shock. Right? Man, I've done this so many times this video, you gotta know the drill by this point. On June 4th, 2019, just a week prior to E3, Shinobi602, who was an admin on Reset Era, made a post saying, quote, "Been a while since we saw Banjo in anything. Hope we're in for a smashing good time," heavily implying that he'd be the next playable character in Super Smash Bros. Now, Reset Era normally has strict policies on posting unconfirmed rumors, but because of this incredible power granted by the admin status, Shinobi got a pass. And in this case, it's a good thing he did, since the Banjo reveal actually happened. The reveal still wasn't really spoiled per se, since many didn't believe him, but for those who trusted their admin leader, this was certainly a big leak. There were a few smaller leaks around this time in history too. The stage builder mode for the game would be found in a file prior to its release. Joker's fighter render for Ultimate would be shown in a Best Buy ad before any footage of him released, which was pretty funny. Best Buy kind of became a meme in the community for a while following this. Hero's release date would be leaked by Nintendo in a video about upcoming Nintendo content where they showed it before they were supposed to. The spirits for the Dragon Quest series would be leaked by Nintendo themselves, as on July 26th, images of a bunch of characters would get uploaded by Nintendo onto the Smash World Spirit database for them to only get taken down later. But a little bit too late. A pretty big leak is up next though, because once we got past the first 3 members of Challenger Pack 1, focus immediately shifted onto who was number 4, and Nintendo of Europe seemingly couldn't wait to show who it was. On September the 1st, a page for Character 4 in the Fighters Pass was created, and in it, a mention of a copyright belonging to the SNK Corporation was found. This was quite a revelation, as Nintendo had not worked with this company on anything Smash Bros. Related in the past. SNK was a company with some history and had a variety of franchises, with one of their most recent big titles being SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy for the Switch, which some had dismissed this copyright tag as simply being a copy of, due to it having an identical file size to it. But the biggest flaw in that argument would be, why would this even happen? Why would anyone messing with this one page for Smash Ultimate have that oddly specific copyright tag copied? I mean, maybe they were a fan of SNK Heroines Tag Team Battle. I mean, some people probably are. Anyways, if that wasn't the case, then it didn't really make much sense. It was likely just a desperate hope from fans who didn't want this leak to be true. They didn't want a character from a franchise that they, to be blunt, never even heard of joining Smash, so this story was created in a desperate move. Just 3 days later, Terry from Fatal Fury was confirmed as the SNK character for Challenger Pack 4. But in my opinion, and this is different from some other leaks that I'm adamantly opposed to, but I feel there was actually a lot of good to come out of this. By the time Terry was revealed, everyone had sort of accepted that an SNK character was coming before the reveal itself. It tempered expectations, and since there was still another character left to go, there wasn't as much fuss made about it as there likely would have been otherwise. And I feel this was likely a catalyst behind the decision for Nintendo to announce that an ARMS character would be joining Smash before its presentation the year that followed. A pretty odd type of leak would come out with the turn of the calendar to 2020 though, everyone's favorite year, right? Reddit user Practical Brush 12 made a post on January 16th, the date that the final character of Fighters Pass 1 would be revealed, and they accurately called Byleth, just 10 minutes before the presentation started. They didn't just get lucky with the call either, they accurately predicted their moveset, Cuphead as a Mii costume, and had a reputation for calling a few things in the past. Just nothing Smash Bros. Related until now. When this reveal aired, all the information that Practical Brush 12 stated would be proven correct, which makes you wonder, since they did have some knowledge in advance, what was their angle here? Did they just happen to say the video a bit earlier than everyone else? Or did they know a long time in advance, but only revealed it just before the presentation started as to not spoil that many people, but also to make a statement that, yeah, I have sources, which I think is a nice courtesy if you're gonna make a leak, I suppose. Whatever the reasoning, they would go on to carry that to October 1st of last year, where they called Steve's reveal 30 minutes before it happened, along with the exact details of his alternate costumes. Clearly they know something and are likely someone to watch for in the future. Some leaker, or perhaps group of leakers you may not be able to watch out for, are the 7-Eleven poster leaks. And yes, when I say 7-Eleven, I literally mean the chain of stores. Through the course of 2019 to 2020, there were 3 recorded incidents of posters of upcoming Smash DLC content put up at 7-Eleven locations in Japan. So unless you're in the 0.4% of people who watch me from Japan, actually more than I was expecting, that's pretty cool, you probably didn't have much of a chance to find out what was going on while going to buy a Slurpee. On July 24th of 2019, Twitter user PushDustin posted a picture on the site of a poster with information of the hero coming to Smash Ultimate, along with information about Fire Emblem Three Houses. The same user would post another photo in September, this time of a poster of Banjo and Kazooie leaking their release date, and finally on September 20th, Twitter user Anua posted about the second Fighters Pass for Smash Ultimate, announcing that a new character would be revealed on October the 1st, an announcement which had not been previously made. This character turned out to be Steve, so if you're ever looking to find out some information ahead of time about Smash, of all places, 7-Eleven in Japan may give you your best chance for breaking a story. But all of these leaks pale in comparison to what's possibly the biggest Smash leak of all time, right up there with the ESRB leaks for Smash 4. These are the infamous Vergeben leaks. You see, I've tried to go in somewhat chronological order with these leaks today for this video. It makes for a more streamlined story to tell, but I had to hold off on this one because, well, the Vergeben leaks have spanned for years at this point. On May 16th, 2018, this user made their first leak thread on Game FAQs claiming that he knew a credible source for the character roster of the next Smash Bros. Game. From then, until as recently as a couple of months back, he had correctly predicted that the game would be a brand new entry, something that had been up in the air for debate before E3 of 2018 revealed that. Many still thought at this time that this game would be a simple port of Smash 4. He also predicted that every past character would return, that Ridley, Simon, Isabelle, Incineroar, and Ken would all join the battle, with Ken being an echo of Ryu, that Isaac would not be playable and take the role as an assist trophy instead, that the game would have post-release DLC, a claim that definitely wasn't very bold considering that Smash 4 had a big focus on it, but he was right nonetheless, that Banjo-Kazooie and Dragon Quest representation would be DLC, that Terry would be DLC, and finally that Minecraft would be included somewhere in a DLC type role. A ton of completely accurate comments. This guy knows something, but there was a slight issue with him. First, Vergeben stated that Ultimate's base game would include, quote, over a dozen newcomers, and even if you include Echo Fighters, there were only 11. He also stated that the first character of Fighters Pass 1 would be a Square Enix rep, and while there was one with Hero later in the past, he certainly wasn't the first one out of the past. That was Joker. And there's one big item up in the air too. Vergeben would claim earlier that Master Chief would be the 5th character of Fighters Pass Volume 2. Yeah. This guy, who's got almost everything right aside from minor details, predicted that Microsoft's Icon, the mascot of Halo, would be joining Smash. This would have been huge, but it didn't happen. He's been wrong on dates in the past, like Square Enix's rep in Pass 1, so maybe there's still a chance for Master Chief to be playable. But if he's not, what can we say about this guy's credibility? Did his source deliberately feed him a mix of correct and incorrect information? If he's just making a guess, why risk his credibility for that? It seems that there's definitely a good shot of this being accurate due to his track record, but the part that I love about it is it's still up in the air. We don't know for sure, and the surprise can't be entirely spoiled because of that. Leaks range from wild to disappointing to straight up funny, but one thing that is undeniable is they're an integral part of the Smash community. Censorship is too, and it's why I really think you should watch this video to find out about every censored character in Smash history. You won't believe some of the crazy things that had to be changed.